everybody. Welcome back to another episode of God Built This Podcast. I'm your host, Maxine. I'm on episode 256. Let's talk about Carly Russell again. Let's talk about Carly Russell. I'm about to say Carly Rae. Carly Russell yet again. Okay. After recent developments, now it's obvious that it's been certified, that evidence has been surfaced showing that this was a scam, basically, and that she set this up for reasons not too clear yet. Maybe we'll get more information later on, but from things that I've read and watched, I feel sorry for her. Oh my gosh, I know I am opening my heart to her, and instead of me being as harsh as I was like towards Jussie Smollett, because I know she's a female version of that. She's a black woman, and it was an easy joke. It was an easy joke, and the jokes are funny. I get it, but I'm starting to feel sorry for her because I feel like if a woman goes out of her way to fake her death or fake her disappearance specifically, it's a cry out for help. There is something wrong mentally and emotionally that she feels that this is the only option. There was something that I watched that made me realize maybe she did this to test the depth of love from her family, from her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. Not really sure the status of that relationship, but maybe this was, some people act like, some people have said like, oh, how would you deal with me if I was gone? Not deal with me, but like, how would you deal with life? How would you act if you lost me, And I think it comes from a place of not feeling sure in said relationship. And I'm not blaming the black man at all. I'm not blaming that significant other. I think it's just an insecurity within herself. And I feel like it's just being projected in different ways. And so oftentimes when people ask those questions like, oh, what would you do if I wasn't here? How would you react? How would you deal? It's really to see, how much do you love me? How in love with me are you? And will you be devastated? And that answer, whatever the answer may be, will now determine that woman's self-worth. And ultimately, this seems to be a cry out of her insecurities. I think she is just suffering from some self-esteem issues, maybe depression also. And that is a matter of mental health. And I understand now mental health has been tainted. It's been tainted to say, oh, so-and-so is dealing with some mental health issues because mental health has been a cop-out. People have been using that to excuse them from accountability. And I understand the frustration with that. But as I was watching something, there was something that I watched and it said, oh, the mental health community doesn't like when people say, oh, she just had mental health issues and you should just like excuse her for it. And it's like, first of all, who is the mental health community? Is there a mental health board? Is there a mental health committee? Like, what are you talking about? Like, is there only certain people in the mental health field or who is known for mental health issues that can only speak on mental health and that can only say, hey, it's because of my mental health I did that? Like, honestly, we all have mental health issues. We all do. And it's masked in different ways. We all suffer from something that we may not be completely aware of, but there is something in everybody that is dealing with a level of mental health more than there are some more than others. I get that. But ultimately, we all suffer from a level of poor mental health and emotional health. And so this idea of, oh, well, we can't keep saying mental health because it's excusing her from accountability, when no, that's not right. Because I think, honestly, anyone who goes out of their way to fake their own disappearance, to, yes, do the I get it. there's evidence that proves that she is crazy. Like, it's laughable, right? Because it's like, wait, what is so crazy? But if someone goes out of their way to research the movie Taken and to research the Amber Alerts, and if you get fined for having a fake one, to research just how to get away with murder or how to get I think if someone goes out of their way to do all of those things, yes, of course it shows a level of maybe manipulation or calculation. All of that is true, and you also suffer from poor mental health. Like, all of that is true at the same time. It's true that you are also dealing with intense self-esteem issues and insecurities that are still wrestling with your self-worth. And you ask questions like, what would you do if I was gone? To measure someone's love for you. All of that is clear sign of a poor mental health. And that's that. Like, all of that is true at the same time. So going back to my question from the previous episode, should she be prosecuted or given a slap on the wrist? I think, yes, there should still be a level of accountability, right? I don't know if she needs to be in jail for years. Now, Jussie Smollett, I didn't really care for that nigga. It's like, no, I think the same level of grace probably should be given on all accounts, because mental health, we talk a lot about, oh, mental health is real, and we should care about, it's like we have a limit. It's up until this point, right? It's up until you fake your disappearance. Should I care about your mental health? It's up until you kill somebody. Should I care about your mental health? I just still care about your mental health. I'm kidding. No, but still, there's a level of concern that everyone should still have, regardless of the situation. I really still think so, because think about the serial killers who have documentaries after documentaries after them. Dahmer, for example. We were all, well, many of us, I know some of us did not watch it, and I understand, but many of us were glued to the TV screen watching the Dahmer Netflix series. And I came on this very podcast just analyzing the psychology of someone who would do such heinous crimes. And I, of course, did not condone nor encourage his killings, right? I didn't justify them, but I watched it with the lens of, and I think it was also because of how the show was painted and how it was put together. Like, it was just so well done. So much so that it made me feel a sense of pity, and not even just pity, I would say a sense of, dare I say, understanding for someone like that, right? For someone to be so poorly in his mental capabilities and his emotional maturity, to think that this is the only option. I could understand how someone like that would do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, if someone's in their right mind, then I wouldn't understand how someone's in their right mind would do such a thing. But for someone who's not in their right mind, who's not in the right headspace, I understand how that person could lead to being a serial killer. So, again, when we analyze these psyches of serial killers and rapists and all of these people who do heinous things, is for us to understand how one could become such a character. How can one become a killer? Like, it's important for us to know. It is important for us to know. So I know the whole argument of, well, we shouldn't give these serial killers and rapists and all these people, we shouldn't give them platforms. We shouldn't give them interviews and give them a voice. Don't give the victims a voice. Only everyone should have a voice. I'm sorry, everyone should have a voice. Everyone should have the ability to speak and speak their speech. and say their truth and speak on it. I really do think so, because it is a cautionary tale for us all. And, God forbid if someone someone who's listening to this episode may find themselves in a situation that is somewhat eerily similar to what they see in Dahmer, or to what they see in someone in their life who would fake their disappearance. Maybe they are now better informed on the signs to look for, right? Like, maybe you have a close friend in your life who showed symptoms of just poor self-esteem and intense insecurities, so much so that now you are having deeper conversations with that friend. And now that friend can feel more comfortable in confiding in you and can feel less alone, and maybe can make better decisions and increase their just mental health in a positive way. I think that, it could lead to better things. But when we cross out or put a limit to when we care about mental health and when we don't, it's like, what are we talking about then? Like, I get it. I get this is content, and many of us are content creators, and this is another great video topic to discuss on YouTube, and oh my gosh, the views are coming in left and right. I get that, but I also want us to look at it from a different lens. I want us to be challenged, and I don't know if she could legally even say that she faked it. Just like how Jussie Smollett never came forward and said, yeah, I faked that. Even though evidence surmounts that he faked it and it was a scam. Same for Carly Russell. But if they were to come forward, then they are legally indebted to paying the crime, or, paying for that crime. And they have to make up for it through whatever justice decision is made. But so I think they'll just take it to the grave. I know there's some things for me I take to the grave. Like, I don't know if I want to tell anyone about this or that, or like, I don't know. Because I think there's a fear of judgment, right? There's a fear of misunderstanding, and there's even a fear of articulating your actions and your thought process. And you know how sometimes when you're telling a story to somebody, and of course that person with their own facial reactions, with their own face, will express themselves in their face before they even respond with words. So that right there is already fearful for some people, right? Like, I feel like, ooh, I probably wouldn't say that. Like, this is something I would have liked to have told my cousin who passed before she passed. Like, just, hey, by the way, when I was when I was at this age, I did this. But I said I would never tell her, or it was just it's something so silly now, but I remember not wanting to tell her because I lied to her in her face, and I said, no, I didn't have anything to do with that, or whatever. And it's been so many years now, and it's over now. But the point is, I understand how some people will have to take some things to the grave. And for Carly Russell, she will have to take that shit to the grave. Maybe there's one or two people she could tell. Maybe her parents are aware that she lied and she confided in them, and they decided to keep it in-house, and that's what's up. But for the most part, keep that shit to yourself. So justice for guys. Like, no, I just don't want us to. I feel like she's embarrassed. I do feel like she's embarrassed. I'll be embarrassed too. Like, what do you do with your life now? And sure, maybe in 2 weeks people will forget about it. She's not like a star who did something like this, right? She's not having to be back on the big screen again after this event in her life. No, it's not like, with Jussie Smollett, even though he wasn't a big star as his sister, Journey Smollett, who is an amazing actress. Shout out to Lovecraft Country. Oh, amazing show. But like that, that is different, right? She was a regular common folk person, Carly Russell, and I think maybe in a couple of weeks we'll forget about it, and maybe she'll be able to apply to a new job and no one will, I don't know. I do know that, at least from what I learned about Alabama and different like southern areas, there's a lot of small towns and just not as big of a city as it is like in a Houston or in a Boston or New York City. So who knows? Like maybe she is able to just pack up and leave and move to a whole different area, and I don't know, child. Her face is still her face. Like, right? Her face is still her face. That won't change. Her last name is still her last name. Her first name, even though Carly is just a nickname for her full name, which is Carlethia, I believe. Nonetheless, her face is still her face. So we'll see. But again, with anything in the news cycle, it'll boil over. We'll forget about it soon enough. And here's the thing. Look, it's not that, I don't know. I feel like her being a black woman, yes, it makes it shouldn't even have to. I said this in the last episode. Like, it shouldn't even have to determine whether or not the next black woman who is found missing or who is missing, we shouldn't believe her. Like, that's so silly. That's such a lack mindset. Like, because of Carly Russell makes it up for everyone. Like, there's so many cases of white women also, but it's just unfortunate because you have just not as much of an exposure for black girls and women who have been missing for such a long time. And for white girls and white women, they are just always in the news cycle if they're missing, and it's an ongoing report. It's an ongoing investigation that is live. There's no first 48 for them. It's an immediate, not even immediate, it's a consistent commitment type of coverage. So I mean, hopefully the news cycle can improve in that element, but who knows? I just don't want us as myself as a black woman, and anyone who's listening who happens to be black also to now question future black girls and women who may be missing. Like, that's so silly to do. There was one case of a white woman, a whole white woman, and look, think about the movie Gone Girl. I'm about to say Girl Gone. No, white woman who, what did she do? I listened to the case on an episode of Juicy Scoop, hosted by Heather McDonald, and she talked about this white woman who, I think she faked, I don't know if she faked her death or her disappearance. Let's say, I'm gonna type it in real quick, see if anything pops up. So, fake disappearance, and it was just to be with her boyfriend, and she was married at the time, and she also blamed two fictional women who had, like, in her fictional story, she said that those women were Latinos and were lesbians, and like, hold on, is this the one? Hold on, let's see. A California woman who faked her own kidnapping in 2016 and fabricated an elaborate tale to tell the authorities, prompting an extensive and costly search for made-up perpetrators, was sentenced on Monday to 18 months in prison. This may be the person I'm talking about. Yeah, it was in California. Her name is Sherry Papini. I just want to make sure it's the right details. Not only did Papini lie to law enforcement, her friends and family, she also made false statements to California. And her lawyer, he added Sorry, it's like hard to do at the same time. But I think this is the case. Yeah, so basically there's so it's not like it's just a black woman thing, and I don't think enough black people are aware of this. I really don't. I don't think I feel like this happens to be just an arrested moment in history in which people only think, oh my gosh, this black woman, how dare she? How dare she? And it's like women and people, and not even just a woman thing, people in general, there's been many, it's not just a movie thing, you guys. It's not just a Lifetime thing. There are many cases, okay? There's a lot of movies and TV shows based off true stories of people who have faked their death, people who have faked their kidnapping. This is the thing people do. This is a hobby. Hey, what you like getting into? I like painting, I like cooking, and I like faking my own death. Like, this is the thing people do, okay? Get with it. Okay, so let me read this. So Papini was 34 years old at the time. Again, she is a white woman, Sherry Papini. She reappeared 3 weeks later on Thanksgiving Day, having been reportedly freed by her captors that morning, still wearing restraints. So she was very committed to this kidnapping. She hid herself. She had these restraints on her to indicate some more that she was held captive. She was gone for a lengthier time, not too lengthy, but longer than the 48 hours that Carly Russell was gone. And she was committed to it. So what happened? So in August 2020, she stood by her story when questioned by a federal agent, despite being advised that it was a crime to lie to a federal agent. Papini was arrested on charges of making false statements to federal law enforcement officers and for mail fraud. Papini fabricated the story of her abduction. She had reportedly been staying, yes, this is the right one. She had reportedly been staying with a former boyfriend, James Reyes, during the time she was supposedly missing and had harmed herself in order to give credence to her lies. Like, people do this all the time. I'm about to fake my kidnapping right now. I'm tired of paying these. I'm good. I'm tired of being a doll. I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke, brain. You know, there's a meme or a tweet, something that I read online talking about you have to be mindful of the words that you speak because your brain doesn't know that it's a joke. Your brain, if you keep saying, oh, I'm so dumb. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. I'm like, you know, people be saying that so flippantly. I'm so stupid. But it doesn't really mean that they really feel like they're so stupid. But according to this tweet or meme that I read online, it said your brain doesn't can't categorize, oh, this is a joke, this is real feelings that Maxine feels. And it's like, can we just calm the fuck down? Like, what about comedians who are up on stage degenerating themselves? Is that the right? Not denigrating. Yeah, that's the one. Denigrating themselves. Like, are they? I mean, there's a true description or statement. I wouldn't say stereotype, but like comedians are always described as depressed. But still, like, let me just fucking joke, okay? I'm not really trying to fake my kidnapping, but I understand. Anyway, so she faked her kidnapping because she wanted to stay with her former boyfriend. Now, she had kids, she was married, and she was like, look, I will still go through with this. What does that say? And yeah, she still stood by her story despite being told that if you lie to a federal agent, then it's a crime. And she had to serve time for that. So she served 18 months, apparently, according to the previous thing I read, for that. And, 18 months she served. And it is what it is. So maybe Carly Russell had to do the same thing. If she lies to a federal agent, then she'll just have to serve 18 months. But But in the case of these women and just people in general who decide to go the extra mile, the longer length of time to concoct such an elaborate event that is traumatic, it really speaks to your mental health. It really does. And it does make me wonder, are you in your right mind? Are you in your right mind? Because I don't think someone who's in their right mind will go out of their way and do such a thing. It just doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I mean, God bless. So on March 9, 2022, Papini was released from jail before her trial on a $120,000 bond. And after surrendering her passport, she and her lawyer had no comment on the allegations against her. Papini had faced up to 25 years in prison between the charges of mail fraud and lying to a federal officer. However, 6 weeks after her arrest, Papini signed a plea deal admitting that she had orchestrated the hoax. In September 2022, she was sentenced to 18 months in prison and fined $300,000. So maybe her deciding to finally admit it's according to what it says here, it was a part of her plea deal. So had she not admit that she orchestrated the hoax, then she probably would have served a much longer time. So, I mean, look, God bless. No one died. No one died. Like, I think we have to rearrange our thinking when it comes to hoaxes. Did anyone die, though? Did anyone die in Carly Russell's case? Yes, she claimed she saw a toddler, but look, the good news is there wasn't a toddler. There wasn't a toddler at the side of the road on the highway. There wasn't a toddler. Okay? And I think that's something to be very proud of, considering the child sex trafficking ring that's going on in this world. We finally have a toddler who wasn't there and who wasn't sex trafficked. That's good. That's good news. We got to find the light in things. We got to look for the light. We got to look for the positive and just kind of change our mindset. The glass is half full, man. The glass is half full. Okay, let's move on. I'm so full of shit. Look, I just like to, let's just change our mindset. Change your mindset, change your life. Okay, there is this trend called, I don't know if there's an actual term for it. I think I heard of it earlier today at the time of this recording, but I'm not sure if it's an official name for it. But basically, there's this trend in which real people in real life would go on TikTok and they will play a character, particularly a non-player character, and is also called NPC for short. And an NPC, for those who aren't gamers, who may not be familiar of this term, is a non-player character in a video game. So think of the chatty pedestrians of Grand Theft Auto, or the glitchy shopkeepers and guards of Skyrim. I'm reading a definition here. And so these are computer controlled characters. So these aren't characters you can actually control or that are relevant or the main character in a game. And so the trend is these characters are controlled by the computer and they move according to how the computer wants for them to move. And so what the trend is, basically, you have real life people. There's videos of women and some men I've seen too, in which in the video they act like a non-player character. They'll jerk their heads as if they're an NPC. They'll say typical terms that an NPC says. Ice cream so nice. Oh, thank you. They'll speak in a way that's very gamer like, and it's very creepy if you really want to speak on it. Like, it's actually very strange and deranged, but it's a fetish. Hello, I've been coming on here exposing the fetishes of our time, and time after time after time, I am just impressed of the creativity in the fetish. Like, whatever happened to just being fetishizing over feet, right? Or, oh my gosh, I love your shoulders. Like, no, we gotta go further. Let's talk like an NPC. Let's speak like we are not actual people and act like we're anime. And there's a video of this content creator / TikTok star, content creator, in which she is in her TikTok video, she's live streaming, and she is imitating a non-player character. So she'll lick her lips, or she'll make these sucking noises and, oh, thank you. She'll do those noises, and I'll insert the video here.
Yeah, strong woman, grab. Yeah, strong woman. Yeah, strong. Take your Tony. Can I eat it? So cute. Balloon. Take your Anna. Take your Maya. Hey! Take your Anna. Take your Jolan. Take your Anusti. Take your Rika. Take your Jolan. Take your A. Take your Emma. Take your Maribel. Ice cream so good. Gang. Hey! Balloon. Hey! Oh, thank you, baby. This is so cute.
So she'll do those noises, right? And she'll speak like she's an NPC, like she's committed to it. She'll jerk her body accordingly. She is in character. And let me tell you how much money she's making. Let's look into that. Let me just go into that. Let me see if I can find the info on that. Because a lot of people are entertained, and despite like the fear in the world of like, oh my gosh, we're in a recession and there's no money, there's no jobs, people have money to spend, and however they want to spend it, however you think it may be foolish, people will spend money on shit that makes them happy and horny. Those are the two H's. If you make me happy, if you make me horny, more than likely you're gonna get my money. That's the mentality of some people, well, many people out here. And so it says here that her name is Pinky Doll, and she's racking in around $2,000 to $3,000 per TikTok live stream, adding up to $7,000 per day when counting her other revenue streams like OnlyFans. So if she were to go on TikTok live stream 4 times a week, right? It's like a little bit of a part-time job, and I don't know how many hours she's on the stream. I don't know how many hours you can be on TikTok live stream, but let's say she's on it for 4 hours. In those 4 hours, she is committed in playing an NPC. She is making bank with that money, because many of her viewers are not only watching, but they're purchasing these like gifts and reactions that amount to real money when she receives it. So like, if I'm a viewer of hers, right? If I'm a viewer and I like that she's doing, oh, thank you, oh, ice cream so good, she's doing that, right? And I'm, oh my gosh, I love it, she makes me so happy, or she's making me laugh, I gotta give her an ice cream cone. I give her an ice cream cone by pressing the button on my screen that represents the ice cream cone. My payment method is already synced to TikTok, right? Everything's already synced in your social media accounts. So it's not like you have to add that extra step. It's already synced. It does let you know this is $3.99, this is $5.99, this is $15. Like, it does let you know what you're submitting. But because you are so entranced with this fetish of yours, you know, of seeing real people playing like they're NPCs, you don't care about the amount of money that you're giving this person, the real amount of money. You're just like in this game with this person. and you're pressing these gifts, this ice cream cone, the piano, the burger, and she's reacting in accordance to that gift or to that gesture that you gave her. So this is a thing. This is a new form of currency, and at this point, I mean, who needs a college degree anymore? I mean, at this point, what are we doing? Other influencers hopping on the NPC stream trend have also reported seeing major earnings, such as one creator who said she raked in a jaw-dropping $700 in just 3 hours. I mean, ciao. So she's a committed content creator. Like I read, she's also on OnlyFans. This is a fetish, y'all. This is like, it's strange, it's creepy, it's I don't know. It's just like, it makes you speechless because it's like, what? It's so weird. But it is what it is, you know? And for someone like her who's saying she does not care over the backlash that she's receiving for this, is because she's getting paid. That's why she doesn't care. And then the argument could be, okay, well, she's not showing her ass, right? She's not showing her titty. She's not. Yeah, I just think things could be a slippery slope. And I feel like, yes, you don't have to make money the traditional way to sleep well at night. I'm not trying to pigeonhole anyone. I'm not. I just think when we're doing something kind of like outrageous, it's like, I don't know. But I mean, to each their own. I'm not here to judge. I'm really not. I just find it fascinating. And I mean, she may not be showing her ass on TikTok, but on OnlyFans, I'm sure she probably is. So either way, God bless, child. God bless. Okay, so we talked about, keep on getting these emails, dog. Like, what? Okay. We talked about Carly Russell. We talked about the TikTok trend. Okay. Snow White is getting some backlash. And I'm a little confused because what are we talking about? You know? So let's get into it. So there is this movement to not just be woke in one area, but be woke in the dwarves area. Now, dwarfism is, maybe that's an actual slur now, but it is an actual term. Like, dwarfism, that is a condition. Like, that's a real statement. It's not a slur. It's in the medical books, the DSF, whatever that one is, but it's a thing, you know? It's not a made up thing. Just like retardation. Oh, you're a retard. That's a real thing. It's a scientific, it's a actual condition. It's not a slur. But of course, people make things what they want it to be and transform the meaning. And now, yeah, it's used as a slur. But like, if you're a fucking retard, you're a fucking retard. Like, what are we talking about? But anyway, so there is, you guys know, I don't watch Game of Thrones. I'm not a Game of Throner. But the only small person or little person, because I know the M word is a slur now. So it's now little person, and he probably doesn't like being called a dwarf. Even though he has dwarf. Like, he's a dwarf. What are we talking about? But Snow White and the 7 Little Dwarfs, that is the actual title of the movie. Now, who knows if it's not going to be called the 7 Little Dwarves anymore. Anyway, the point is, going back to Game of Thrones. Did I say Thorns earlier? I don't remember. Anyway, so the only little person that we are all very familiar with is the one from Game of Thrones. His name is Peter Dinklage. I don't know what was his name. What is his name on Game of Thrones, as I did not watch it. But this is a little person who many of us are familiar with as far as little person goes in Hollywood. And he is calling out the live action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. He feels like this is not progressive and finds it to be hypocritical. He says, quote, he says calling the use of dwarves, quote, effing, excuse me, I want to stop swearing too much on the podcast, so I'm doing my best. He calls it effing backwards. He says, let's see. No, okay, so first, so he says that, right? In response, Disney said the filmmakers will be working with culture consultants to improve the story. Disney said, quote, to avoid reinforcing stereotypes from the original animated film, we are taking a different approach with these 7 characters and have been consulting with members of the dwarfism community. We look forward to sharing more as the film heads into production after a lengthy development period. Dinklage, the little person I'm talking about, he's also famous for his role, sing of the casting of West. Actually, no, I don't know, but yeah, he's y'all know him. He says, quote, literally, no offense to anyone, but I was a little taken aback when they were very proud to cast a Latina actress as Snow White, but you're still telling the story of Snow White and the 7 dwarves. Take a step back and look at what you're doing here. It makes no sense to me. You're progressive in one way, but then you're still making that effing backward story about 7 dwarfs living in a cave together. What the F are you doing, man? Have I done nothing to advance the cause from my soapbox? I guess I'm not loud enough. Okay, so he's also known for his role in the X-Men Days of Future Past. So this is his gripe. I really don't know what the gripe is. Like, what's the issue? Snow White is of 7 dwarves. Like, should they not be included in the movie anymore? Like, what are we talking about? I know we're in this, like, stupid-ass age of wokeism, but this is, like, stop messing up my Disney movies. Enough with the Black Mermaid. Kidding. I had no problem with Little Mermaid. I didn't actually watch it. I don't know. I didn't really watch it. I had no problem with it, though. I'm just making a joke. That was a joke. That was a joke, brain. That was a joke. Okay, so the critique with dwarves, because I'm trying to understand his argument, and the critique with it is that there's a stereotype of short or small people, of little people, that they're just, I guess, creepy. What else? They're like in the woods. Hold on. Stereotypes. I'm going to hell. No, I'm not. Of little people. That they're creepy, they're not trustworthy. What else? I don't really know what the stereotype is. So what is it about raising awareness? I'm trying to find something that could tell me what the stereotypes could be. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I'm reading something that I just popped. Okay, so weird, incapable, creepy. Yeah, okay. Unathletic, childlike, clumsy, entertaining. Oh, excuse me. They have low self-esteem, they're quick-tempered, and they're humorous. I mean, okay. Look, sure, not everyone is a monolith, right? Not every group of people is a monolith, but come on. I think some of these traits are true. I think okay, let me just be honest here, because the little people I've seen on TV do host these traits, right? Do demonstrate a clumsy trait, childlike, humorous, quick-tempered for sure. All of this is true in regards to what I've seen on TV. Now, of course, little people in real life may not always be this way. As we all, like, I'm a regular sized person and I am weird sometimes. Sometimes I can be clumsy and I'm, like, this is not exclusive for this little people community. I just don't understand his point. Oh, okay, I think I'm getting it now. Okay, it just hit me. Okay. So I used to watch this movie a lot, Snow White. When I was a kid, I was Snow White, basically. I was in the movie. I knew the lines. I watched it every day for a long time when I was younger. I forgot what age, but my mom could tell you we had the VHS of it, and I would always pop it on and just be so entertained as if I've never seen it before. I remember the dwarves were all called a specific name. And these names weren't like regular names like Tom, Dick, Larry. No, one was called Lazy, Dopey. Names of 7 dwarves. Okay. Yeah, so Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful, Grumpy, Sleepy, Happy. Okay, you know what? Let me be fair here. I understand now. I do get how he may feel like this is a step backwards because we are more than we are. I'm not a part of the point is maybe give them actual names, but then you're changing the whole story. You're changing the whole story. If it was racist in 1937, let it be racist in 2023. I'm sorry. I loved it then. Leave it as it was. I liked All in the Family as it was. I don't want a remake of it and there's a black Archie Bunker. What the fuck are we talking? That's his name, right? Archie Bunker? Or am I messing him up with someone else? Yeah, I was right. Archie Bunker. I was thinking of the guy from I thought I changed his name from Married and Children. Al Bunker. No, what's his name? Al Bundy. Al Bundy was the name of the guy. But yeah, no, I meant Archie Bunker. All I'm saying is let things be what they are. I get it. We are in a new lens. And, things are more woke now, and you gotta be PC now, you gotta whisper now. But if it was racist, that's why we loved it. That's why we loved it. If it was stereotypical, that's why we loved it. Like, or don't remake it, just replay it. How about that? How about just replay for nostalgia's sake? Nostalgia's sake. How about we just replay it? Because you're messing up my childhood, man. Let bashful be bashful. Let sneezy be sneezy. Let dopey be dopey. And sure, it may encourage stereotypical ideas and thoughts of dwarfs. But so what? Let things be what they are. You know who you are. You mean to tell me Snow White has defined your life? No, I'm really dead ass though. I feel like sure he's accounted for, or like he's what's the word? I understand why he may feel how he feels, basically. Like, he's entitled, he's well within his right to feel how he feels, considering that he is a dwarf himself. But stop. Leave it alone. Let's let things be what they are, dog. Like, I hate when people try to just backtalk the shows from the past that are certified classics. But now that you have a different eyesight and vantage point of the show from 1962, you're looking at it like, oh, this was a racist ass show. I don't care. I still wanted Archie Bunker to be my neighbor. He was entertaining. I still liked it. I used to watch that show with my dad. All in the Family. Okay, so like, I don't care, and I'm a black woman saying that, and it's like, it is what it is. Like, I remember being out with a former friend of mine years ago when we were friends, and we was at a bar, And she's like this, she was this, I don't know if she's changed, but she was this very super militant type of black woman in which she called, like, there was racism everywhere. It was a fucking, you're racist, it's like, girl, relax, dog. Like, you're not a victim today. It's okay. We was at the bar, and you know how at a bar there's a TV showing any show that wants to be shown. And All in the Family was playing. All in the Family was playing, and there was a scene. It was a particular episode. I do remember this episode back in the day. And I don't know how I reacted to it back then, but it just was what it was. But in this episode was a white character wearing blackface. I think it was the son of Archie Bunker. I forget his name. Not the son. Well, the son-in-law, actually. So he was wearing blackface, and I don't know if by the end of the episode it was like a lesson learned, don't wear blackface, or I don't know if it was an episode in which it was like acceptable to wear it. I don't know. Nonetheless, the scene was of the son-in-law wearing blackface. And if I'm not mistaken, if it wasn't the son-in-law, it was another character. Nonetheless, there was a person in that scene from the show, All in the Family, who was a white man wearing blackface. And this super militant friend of mine, she looked up and she's like, what the hell is this on the screen? You need to change the channel. Like, she was going off on the bartender. And of course, the bartender's not gonna be like, no, this is my favorite. Like, you know, it's a white bartender, so he acquiesced to her request and changed the channel. But in that moment, I was like, oh, I like this show. In that moment, I was like still watching the show, and I was reverting back to my 9-year-old self. I was reverting back to that child who enjoyed watching that show with my father. They're like, despite, yes, there's a white man on the screen wearing blackface, and that's not okay. I looked past that, and I stayed with the nostalgia. That is what makes a show a show. That is what makes it a classic. So just swallow it. Just swallow the racism. Swallow the stereotypes. Swallow the dwarf stereotypes. It's okay. You know who you are, right? You gonna let a show define you? Are you gonna let Snow White define you? Anyway, you all, let's go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for listening. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast, make sure you are subscribed. Tell a friend and tell a friend. Leave a review. And I will check in with you all next time. There may or may not be an episode next week. I know there won't be an episode on Friday. For sure, next Friday, because I will be on vacaciones. So shout out to Freckles, baby. And I'm debating if I want to release an episode on Tuesday. So if I release one, you'll know. If I don't, then I'll see you the following week. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I will check in with you all next time. Peace. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of God Built This Podcast with your host, Maxine. If you liked it, leave a review, share, and subscribe. God bless.